We're in the middle of an election campaign. And so a lot of what is said in public by Israeli officials, in particular Israel Katz, the defense minister, has to be taken maybe a little bit with a grain of salt because they're campaigning. And Israel, by the way, just to be clear, is in full campaign mode. That is why the government, quite apart from Lebanon issue right now, is undertaking a blitzkrieg of anti-democratic legislation, trying to weaken the judiciary, the gatekeepers, the civil service, media oversight. I mean, it really is astounding what's going on. The absolute blackmail laws being given to Haredim, laws that wouldn't stop the authorities from arresting draft evaders. I mean, all of this is happening because we're in an election campaign. And going back to Lebanon, this will impact what is said in public. What actually happens,
right,
I think, is a case where we can assume that the American security establishment does not want Hezbollah to return to the border.
Okay.
And I think that this is non-negotiable as far as Israel is concerned. I don't see Israel compromising on this at all in the long-term future.
But it should engage in public diplomacy and make clear to everyone it doesn't have actual long-term territorial ambitions, but this is purely a function of the danger coming from jihadists.
Yeah, that's for sure. And I think that there's obviously a very, very big discrepancy in that messaging. There doesn't seem to be much of an interest or even an attempt anymore to try to prove to the rest of the world why this is necessary, even though Israelis understand fundamentally that the country cannot continue to function in this situation.
This should be fixed because I'm constantly hearing this at various conferences in Europe and elsewhere that Israel wants territorial expansion.
Right.
And I know the truth is otherwise, but the government, for some reason, has abandoned all public diplomacy. It's catastrophic.
Well, I think there's a feeling at this point amongst Israelis that there's no going back almost, that any attempt to win over international support is lost, that nobody cares. Most people hate Jews. Most people hate Israel.
You're both touching on something very important. It's the eighth front. It's the information warfare front. This is the front where we are being basically massacred and have been for years. It's metaphorical, but it has real world implications on our freedom of operation, on our legitimacy, on our coalition building. This has got to be addressed ASAP. It requires funding. It requires a commander in chief. It requires a doctrine like any other war that you fight. The information war has got to be taken seriously.
Right. It's funny because you say, there's a very clear doctrine as to how Israel's now going to respond to security, situations, issues that it's facing. That does not exist when it comes to the public diplomacy front whatsoever. You want to talk about a chicken with its head cut off. That's essentially what we've been witnessing happen right now. At the same time, there is a sense of desperation and also exhaustion, you could say, given the fact that it's been 3 years since October 7th and the war hasn't stopped.
By the way, should the Iranian regime one day fall, that would not just be a great favor to the Iranian people, but it would affect this eighth front as well, because a lot of this international propaganda campaign against Israel, that began October 8th, basically, when Israel was already being accused of genocide, preposterous, before one soldier entered Gaza. A lot of that is coming through Iran.
All right. Well, this is a discussion that I think we could continue for hours. We're going to turn now to Iraq. I'd like to thank you both for joining us.